All right. So as everybody starts to funnel in, we'll take some time just to run a quick poll about how you feel about play um, and play with your child. So if you can answer that poll, and then also drop in the chat where you are joining us today from, or joining from today. That didn't sound like English, but please drop that in the chat. It's always nice to see where people are coming in from. I'm Michael. You may have seen me on these past ones if you joined us before. I'm the co-founder of Lalo, and I'm joined today with our head of play and development, Lizzie, who's also the founder of the Workspace for Children, master's in education, educator, parenting coach, and a mom of three. And so we are very excited to jump in today to talk all things play, all things play boxes, and we will get started quickly. The main thing about this is this session is intended to be an open dialogue with you guys. So questions you have for us about the product, about play, about your child's development at this stage. Everybody on this call has a child age 6 months to 1 year. So everybody's going through the same exact things. And so if you have a question, someone else is probably thinking the same exact thing or has gone through something similar. And so we're encouraging all of you to use the Q&A function or even hit the raise a hand function, and we'll invite you to talk. So you can actually ask your question or add feedback or be part of the conversation, which is a little different than past ones we've done before. So feel free to start firing in questions now. Otherwise, we certainly have things to talk about. It may take a second for things to come to mind, and we understand that. Okay, but before we jump into the questions and the topic for today, just a reminder that we launched our play boxes about a month, earlier this month. They're an amazing collection of toys meant for certain ages. You can subscribe or you can buy one off. They're called the play boxes. The toys are all amazing, made from the most sustainable materials, but also great for your child's learning and development. And at the end of this, we will be giving away a subscription to someone that has joined us today, one of you. So stay tuned at the end where we will announce the winner from this session. We just got done with the 0 to 6 month group. Now we're on to the 6 to 10 month group, 6 to 12 month group, all of you guys, and we're excited to chat. But Lizzie, I was hoping you could start off by kind of just telling us, what is play? What does it mean to play with your baby that's 6 to 12 months? What does that even mean, really?
Sure. I mean, this is such an exciting age. I love the 6 to 12 month age because I feel like your baby has really come alive. And so where before you were almost like playing kind of for them, right? Now you're starting to see like their personality. You're starting to see things come out. So play is still going to mean the same thing it meant for your baby, which is any interaction you're having, any kind of sensory stimulation, reading, playing, routines, just adding in that playful element. But now that your baby is 6 to 12 months old, they're probably starting to sit and move around a little bit. So you can kind of figure out a little bit more what their unique personality is like. And so play is going to become more about them.
Yeah. I mean, and they're learning, right? Every time they're playing, they're learning. Still so much is new. Yeah, it's been 6 months or it's been a year, but still there are things that they're encountering every day or every week that are brand new to them. And so, we hope that the play box is helping, encourage some of that, right? And some of these little, developmental milestones that they might be going through. They may seem small, but they're quite big actually in the minds of a little baby. And so, there's 3 boxes in this age group in the play boxes. There's the 7 to 8 month box, the 9 to 10 month box. There is the 11 to 12 month box. What are some of your favorite toys, Lizzie, in these boxes?
I am going to say for the 7 to 8 month,
I knew you were going to say that.
I know you did, because this is just the best. Play silks to me are the best open-ended toy. Your baby is going to use it now, especially as they're starting to like sit and move around. It's just so interactive. And yet it can really meet your child where they are developmentally, because every time it's just so responsive. It's such a responsive material, and there's so much you can do with it. So I'm going to definitely say the giant play silk for sure.
Yeah. I think one of my favorites is this mirror.
I love that too.
And is a really amazing toy because there is a thing that goes on top. But one of the things that's really cool is that how it can stand. It can be like standing up like this on its side, or it can be laying down, pointing up at the child. So when you're playing on the floor, they're starting to see themselves. They're starting to maybe like say, who's that guy? And it's just an amazing toy, especially if you're still in tummy time phases, or you're trying to get them to, encourage them to crawl or things like that. Like it's a really great tool, and it's a beautiful object. Like the bent rubber wood is really just, I mean, I want everything I buy for myself to look as beautiful as this. So
It's so unique too, that toy. Like, I really want to encourage people also to like use that on the changing table. Use that, like bring that to the high chair with you. Bring that, if your child is starting to pull up, like use it in so many ways because it's really open-ended and your child is going to interact with it so much.
yeah, yeah, awesome. So we do have some questions here coming in the chat. Feel free to also drop them into Q&A or raise your hand. If you want to just like ask your question, you don't want me to butcher it, just raise your hand and I'll invite you to talk. It's nice to hear other people's voices and those of you that have joined us here today. So feel free to raise your hand if you are brave enough to do so. I hope someone will. But I'll start with some of the questions that are coming in. How do I keep my 10-month-old entertained for 3 hours? That's a very specific amount of time. But how do I keep my 10-month-old entertained for 3 hours? That's from Raquel.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone can keep their 10-month-old entertained for 3 hours, but I will tell you how to keep your 10-month-old entertained in general. And that I'm going to say is by sort of building in little pockets of play in your home, right? So you're going to take something like this and you're going to put it down low where your child can play. Maybe where you are in the kitchen, you're going to put it down on the ground while they're playing. They're going to roll this around. They're going to crawl after it. Maybe they're going to put it back in, and you're going to have materials that they love all around you. Kids want to be where we are, and of course at this age you're supervising them all the time, so you're really going to follow their interests and you're going to have those materials handy nearby to where you are.
Yeah. This one's anonymous. I need a Christmas gift idea for my baby who will be 9 months during December. Hopefully I can get him Playbox. I hope you do too.
Me too.
I think it makes a great gift. And so if you're, and those that know may have been on our emails, we're offering a subscription promotion right now. If you subscribe, you get the first box for 40% off. That's a pretty great deal.
It also feels like, I feel like as a parent, like giving my child a Playbox is kind of like a present for me also, right? Because not only is it going to help them with play, but it's also like, it looks amazing. Like I want them in my home anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a lot of really amazing questions coming in. The next one is from Sweet Tooth Mom. How often do you do a toy rotation, and how many toys to not overwhelm?
I love that question. And it's going to really depend on your unique child and you, right? So I'm going to encourage you to really observe your child and see what works best for them. Start very lean. So even when we take something like our sensory blocks, right, and they come in this like, whoops, really nice pouch, and there's a lot of them, you don't have to put them all out at once, right? You can experiment by putting out maybe just 2 on a low shelf, right? And see how your child interacts as they're playing. Add in the next one, right? And so you kind of want to think about that in terms of toy rotation. Also, the amount of toys in each play box is also really developmentally appropriate for each child too. But I want these boxes build on themselves. So keep the toys they're absolutely loving front and center, and maybe pull back on the others and then just rotate them in. There's no set. I mean, I know, again, there's so much noise on the internet about exactly how you should do toy rotation. I am a mom and I know a lot about early childhood, and there is no specific way. It's what works best for you and feels best for your child.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. We see in a lot of topics, whether it be toy rotation, starting solids, there are a lot of these methods. These methods are, the purpose of them was originally potentially to help you feel less overwhelmed. And a lot of them we have seen have they've made parents more overwhelmed. And if you find any of these methodologies on the internet and you start driving yourself mad about following it or doing it, it's probably not right. And, really, really ask yourself as you see these things, is this right for my family or is this right for my child if you can? Because I think as a parent, I've personally seen this.
And you're
Um,
also allowed to pick and choose. Like you don't have to be all one kind of parent. Like you can choose one thing from this school of thought and one thing from this school of thought, and you can change your mind. Like you can
yes,
try it and be like,
correct.
actually, like,
Not for me. Yeah, I
yeah.
totally agree. Um, okay. All right. I am going to jump in here to the Q&A now where the questions are coming in. So I'm going to I'm going to ask someone if they will come ask their question live. So if you see the allow to talk, if you're not interested, that's okay. But I'm going to um, allow this person, Shanice. Are
Hi.
you? Hi.
How
You asked a great question and one that has certainly come up. And I'd love to hear your question live as
Yeah.
well as talk about it. So fire away.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm mom to a 5.5-month-old Layla. And early on, we subscribed to Love Every play kits because that was the play kit that we heard about.
Yep.
Um, Fortunately for me, I'm also a Lalo parent. I have the high chair, I have the bathtub, I have all of the play supplies ready and waiting. We have the booster, we have everything. Okay, so like when you guys launched your play box, I was like, oh my goodness, how exciting! But also, oh great, we're already subscribed for the full year to Love Every. So I wanted
Yep.
to know what are the key differences, and should I should I have a subscription for the Lalo play boxes now in addition?
Good question. Good question. Um, so the question is like, how are we different and
Yeah.
are you missing out? So I'll ask a question back to you. What is it that you love so much about Lalo that's encouraged you to buy everything else? Like,
Yeah. Honestly, I've loved the one minimalistic design. I think that it's so it fits the aesthetic for me. But also everything has been perfectly designed and used effectively. So the bathtub used effectively, the bath accessories like the oh my gosh, the faucet cover, the pour spout, everything just it's been great. The thoughtfulness behind how you are scaling the big forks for the big kit food kits versus the early stage first bite starter kits, like those things I've really loved the thoughtfulness of that design. And so that's what I've loved about Lalo.
that's good to hear, and I'm glad we're recording this. But so I would say the same things that you love about everything else are what you would love about the Lalo play boxes. Look, there are, Love Every's done a great job, and we think, there's a Love Every family out there, and there's certainly Lalo families out there. Do I think people need two of them? Probably not. I'll be honest. It's a lot. And so if you're already subscribed, practical me, parent me is saying, maybe you try us in the second year when your Love Every's done. If you have a way of getting out of it, give us a shot. Or maybe you want to take advantage of the offer where we have to try it right now. 40% off our first box is a good way to try it and see the difference, right? I think you'll see the quality of our toys is unmatched. You'll see the sustainability unmatched. We don't have a single bit of plastic in any single toy, and we don't use any plastic in any of our packaging. Um, we also have our donation program at the end. So when your toys add up, which they inevitably will, we had a question about toy rotation. We want you to use them as long as you're using them. But if you find that you're not, we have something called the replay program where you can donate the toys to a family in need. Because if your time with them is up, someone else should be using them. And it better, might as well be someone that is less fortunate. Um, and there's so many other things. I think the content that Lizzie has put in the guides is a little bit more parent friendly in a way, right? It's very much how to use now, how to use later, but it's just a starting point. It's not very focused on education, having to do development. We're there. We're your friend. We're going through the same things as you. So I think all the things you said you love about Lalo, you'll see that the play boxes were created with that same Lalo DNA. And
And I
so,
think also Shanice said something so that really stood out to me, which was that how she's been be able to use all of these Lalo products effectively, right? Like how she's gone from the smaller fork to the bigger fork. These products are also different, I think, because they really build on each other. These aren't one-off things. These aren't like, oh, this is great for like my 3-month-old, but now I don't need it anymore. These are things that I can't wait to see the feedback, because I have a feeling what's going to happen is people are buying these toys for their babies, but I know as a mom and a play expert that the older kids are also going to be like, ooh, what is this? Like, and they're going to start using it also. And I think that's a really big difference in the Lalo products.
Yeah, yeah, and everything that we do is made in Thailand, in a beautiful, beautiful factory. The most, I've seen everything from the forest where the wood is grown, and had lunch with the workers working on the lines in the factory. And it's a very special family that's doing it, and has been doing it for 50 years and doing it in the most sustainable ways. This is a toy that comes later on, but this material you'll see come up is actually made from the sawdust off the production line, so there's no waste. As we're milling the wood to create one object, we're using the waste from that object to create another. And that's really, really special about some of the toys in our boxes. But we'll move on to the next question. My baby puts everything in their mouth. Are these toys safe to quote unquote eat? What is the best way to clean them? They're as safe as possible. So everything in here, all the silicone FDA grade, the same silicone we use for our feeding stuff is the silicone that's in our teethers that can go in your mouth. It's been tested. Everything is BPA free, non-toxic, PFAS free. All the paints and the colors are completely water-based, non-toxic pigments. And it's not, a lot of it's not done through a painting process. Actually, it's more in the wood, so it's not really just sitting there on top where it's going to chip off. Really cool, sustainable, baby friendly methods. All right, next question. That's kind of similar. Okay, do you all recommend a Montessori style shelf to display the toys? I'm trying to convince my husband we need one, but also trying to save money. I get that.
I get it too. And I'm going to say, I kind of feel like a broken record, but I am going to say that, yeah, I mean, yes, a Montessori shelf is amazing. I'm going to say any kind of open, sturdy, stable shelving is wonderful. Even, I really encourage parents to also like use what you have, right? So if like right now you're not going to get that kind of shelving, it's okay. Like a low coffee table with, that's safe is another great place to lay out your child's toys. Like things don't have to be a really special way. You can pick and choose. You can lay things out in different ways. Like our child size table, perfect, amazing. Like put that out down low for your kids. It's really just going to be about accessibility, and it's okay if it's not like a branded Montessori shelf. Do something that you love. Do something that is open that your child can access, and do something that is in the space that you live in, because that's when your kids are really going to play.
Yeah. And so I launched a poll to see if you want us to make a toy shelf. So far, 13 of 13 people have said yes.
I say yes also.
Okay, Lizzie makes it 15 now. So answer that. That helps us every time. We made these toys because we would do these surveys about what products people want to see from Lalo. And every time in the top 3 were toys and subscription toys and wooden toys. So we said, we got to make toys if our customers want toys. So that's how that came to be. So we always encourage people, if you want to see certain products from Lalo, we encourage you to comment on our Instagram, to message our CX team, to be active in when we put out surveys. Like that really, really matters to us. And we read every comment. And if you don't like something, we want to hear that too, because that helps drive product improvement, changes to products. And that's just as important as what you want to see us doing next. So yeah, 100% of people want us to make a toy shelf. We will share that with our product team. While we're on the topic of storage, I don't know if anybody has seen this, but earlier in September, we actually launched 2 storage bins as well. So I'll share my screen here so you can get a sneak peek at them. They are live. I think they will be available. But there's some great storage solutions here. This is our braided storage. We also have a quilted storage. They come in 3 beautiful colors. Each a little bit different. And then we also have our Art Caddy, which is one of now like our best selling products. It goes great with the play table. You guys are probably graduating that age. As some of you round to year one, a play table is a great place to have standing play. They don't necessarily always need to be sitting too. Using these toys tabletop, or starting to doing arts and crafts very lightly can mean a lot of different things, just like play. It's all learning. And so we do have a lot more options now, so encourage you to check out that. We have another question here from Jacqueline. Jacqueline, I'm going to see if you want to ask this question live. Give me 1 second here. All right. Don't run away on me when I. All right, Jacqueline, hopefully you will ask this question live. She's in her office. I will answer for her. We won't hold it against you. We won't tell your boss that you are joining us instead of working. But the question is, do you recommend letting the baby play independently with toys, or should I be playing with them and showing them? It's a great question.
Love that question. Inside our play guides, it's so detailed about how to do this, but it's a combination of both, right? And so especially in our 6 to 12 month age range, you're going to see your baby sort of doing more things independently, right? And so I always want to encourage people to, before you jump in and tell your baby, before we do one of those, look at this, like, look what it does. Take a beat, observe what your baby is doing, and say that out loud, right? So if your baby is holding this and turning it around, you can also pick one up and hold it and turn around. Notice what they're noticing. Say to them also, oh, you're turning that around in your hand, or you feel that soft fabric in the middle, whatever that is, right? So then you're following their lead, but you're also interacting with them.
Yeah, I love that. I was, not to toot my own horn, but we were doing a little block building with my 14-month-old this morning. He was doing it, and it was just like, back, using the word, so stack the blue one, stack the green, he's starting to pick up on colors and stuff. So it was exciting to see him start, because definitely a month ago he was not. So he's starting to identify some colors, which is awesome. All right, any more questions here? Any toys to encourage crawling?
All of them. I mean, I'm going to tell you, like, we put so much thought and care into like what was going on developmentally with kids at the age of the box, that like, really, I'm going to say all of them, because you can kind of, everything you're going to do from our play silk, to like pulling it along, or, whatever it is for them to reach out for it, is going to encourage crawling, right? So really anything, doing something so exciting, like lining these up and having your baby come to you, or rolling them down. And again, you're going to see in our play guides, there's so many examples for how to do that as well.
Yep. All right, I'm going to try one more person getting their question live here. Hopefully, Olivia, you will ask your question live. Hopefully you're not at work or have a napping.
Hey.
Hey, all right, fire away.
Hope all is well. Yes, I just want to know, like, how much time should I, entertain him with the toy before he wants to independently play?
That's a great question. I think there's a lot of
time. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hear him. I think there's a lot of pressure on parents to do it right. But the thing about play is that it's so unique to your child. So there's no right answer, and you can really follow your child's lead. So if he or she are really interested in watching you and having you sort of entertain them, then that's awesome. But if they're grabbing at it and they're ready to go for it on their own, that's your sign to move on.
Yeah, no parent is going to argue that if you give a toy to a child and they can play with it independently, that's not a blessing, right?
Yeah.
It frees you up to cook dinner, fold laundry, do the things you need to do as a parent. And so, if you have the time and your baby will tolerate just like hanging out with the toys, great. If you need to be down there a little bit, great. It's, real, like Lizzie said, it comes down to your child, their needs. There's no right time. It could be 1 minute today, and then they grow into 2 minutes and 3 minutes. It's like training yourself to do push-ups, right? I can't do 100 today, but if I do, a couple every day, could I get there? Maybe. So maybe they need to, learn.
I'd love to give you guys just like one quick independent play baby tip also before we move on, which is that like it's okay for your child to fuss a little bit, right? So if you are sitting there next to them and they're on the play mat playing with something and you're folding laundry and they start to fuss, it's okay for you to say to them, I hear you calling for me. You're almost done playing and I'm almost done folding. Even though that might feel silly to be saying that to a 6-month-old, it's not. It's really building in that foundation for independent play.
Great tip. There are some comments about requests for other products. Before we wrap up, I'm gonna announce the giveaway winner in a second. If you have a product recommendation or that you'd like to see in the play realm or any realm for Lalo, throw it in the chat. We're gonna write all these down because it seems like everybody's mind is in a good place, and I would love to get that feedback from everybody while you're here, because I see a lot of that coming in. So feel free to drop in product recommendations or things you'd like to see from Lalo while I get the random winner from our team here. See one for foam play mats. Anybody else want to see a foam play mat from Lalo?
I could imagine a really good Lalo aesthetic foam play mat.
All right. I'm working on the design right now, guys. That's why I'm paused. All right. So I got the winner here. I will say we've been doing a lot of these virtual events. So we had a whole series in August of back to routine, getting people ready for back to summer, some on play, some on feeding, some on schedules and organizing. We're doing a lot of these. So, definitely also, if you have, things you want to see, message us, DM us, be active. If you want something, we will do it. And so we definitely are going to be doing a lot of this, maybe through the end of the year, but definitely in the new year as well. And I think this format of bringing people together and engaging is really nice. Okay. So the winner is, and when I call your name, just hit the raise hand button. Yeah, and we'll do that. Just hit your raise hand button. Ariana on our team will be in touch to get you your play box that you want. And the winner is, good try, Miriam. Jessica Chiatti. I think that's how you pronounce that. All right, there she is. So Jessica, you are the winner. Our team will be in touch to make sure you get that. And so just to answer the last couple questions that come in here before we sign off for today's session. The first is, do you include books with the play boxes after 6 months? It looks like you don't. Is there any other reading material you recommend or point to? That is a great question. So we do not have books in the boxes after the first 3. That being said, we sell all those books, and they're they're great for you for any age, 0 to 2 years pretty much. And they're written by my co-founder and me. But in addition to that, Lizzie has created a great article on our blog, which I just linked in the chat, for recommendations for different ages and different books for different ages. And there are some incredible books in there I recommend you checking out. And then the last one is off topic, but curious when other parents switch their Lalo high chair to play chair. So if you've done that, throw that in the chat. I think what I can tell you from my experience is we switched from a high chair to a booster seat first, and then we had a separate play table. We then plan to turn our booster seat, and now I have a high chair for my little guy. We'll turn both of those into additional play chairs at our play table once they graduate out of that phase. Which, I have a 3.5-year-old who sits in the booster seat. So kind of depends the size of your kid a little bit too. And it depends where you eat and your home setup and things like that. All right. This has been awesome. Thank you, Lizzie, for joining for 2 of these sessions today. This was great. And like I said, if you guys have any feedback for us anyway, make sure we see it. DM us, chat us on our website, text us. I'll stop shy of giving you my personal cell phone, but we want to hear it. And thank you guys again for joining this, and we hope to be doing more of these soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.